All right, so this video, the topic, it sucks. There's no sugarcoating it. People lost their jobs, and they didn't lose their jobs because they suck or they were problem backstage or this or that. Well, I mean, I don't know about all of them, but for the most part, I'm thinking this was just budget cuts, corporate budget cuts. And other than the fact that I don't really like that WWE touts all these profits they're making and then they fire a bunch of people, I'm not here to villainize WWE. I'm not here to go to these wrestlers and be like, well, there's a silver lining. I am here, though, to say there is still hope. I'm going to give some concrete examples on why these wrestlers should not give up. I'm hoping that, that if they don't see the video, that the message somehow gets to them in some way, shape, or form, because there have been plenty of wrestlers who have been fired in the past and became great success stories in WWE. I'm not discounting, though, that what they're going through now sucks. It just absolutely sucks. These are some, while they're not the biggest of the names, there's some, names that are surprising on this list. We got Sonya Deville. She was in Pure Fusion Collective all the time. While I did not like Pure Fusion Collective, it's just surprising. She had a prominent role. She was a former GM. Cedric Alexander, someone in the Hurt Business, one of the shining things that happened in 2020. AOP, Paul Ellering, they're with Final Testament. Final Testament just won a feud even with the Wyatts. Giovanni Vinci had all these vignettes. Isla Dawn, tag team champion over the summer. Blair Davenport, a call-up from NXT. They made a big deal of it. They showed her being called up from NXT, and then she had 3 matches. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, these guys are legends overseas. Straight up, the Good Brothers are legends. If nothing else, we don't have a teacher spot, a trainer spot for them at NXT. It's just it's surprising. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, these are my favorite. I can't believe it. I'm so angry. I can see why if it had to happen, I can see why it happened, but it doesn't change the fact that it sucks. It sucks for these people, and I really hope that they know that there is hope, because there are plenty of wrestlers who unfortunately lost their jobs but were able to come back, and not just come back, but come back at an elite level. That's what I'm going to go over today. First off, Braun Strowman was released right here. Braun Strowman was released, and look at him now. He's always in a pretty high program at the top of the card. Is he fighting for championships? No, not really, but he's always in that upper mid-card, lower main event scene. He always has a spot on the card. Bronson Reed also let go, and now look at him. If it wasn't for that stupid decision of jumping off the cage, he would be killing everybody right now, destroying everybody right now, tsunamiing everybody right now. So he was released, he came back, and he's on fire. Chelsea Green, your first ever U.S. champion, injured a couple times, released from WWE, but she stayed the course. She came back, and that's just examples right now. I got some bigger examples even. Daniel Bryan, I don't know how new you are to the channel, but if you've been watching since, WrestleMania 28, 29, 30, Daniel Bryan was released. He was fired because on his first night on the main roster, he actually choked a guy with a tie, and that was a big no-no because of other wrestler and what he had done, and he had choked somebody with a tie on program on live TV, and so they fired him. And within months, they rehired him, and he goes on to have the Yes Movement, become one of the most popular wrestlers in WWE history. Main events, WrestleMania 30, he beats all of Evolution basically in one night. So Daniel Bryan, prime example. Someone got fired and came back on fire. We got Jinder Mahal. I know a lot of people feel that Jinder shouldn't have been champion, but I love Jinder Mahal. I'm not gonna lie. One of these days I want to do a video on what's it going to be called? Guilty pleasure wrestlers. And Jinder Mahal is going to be on that list. I absolutely love Jinder Mahal. Now, he shouldn't have been champion. Not gonna lie, he shouldn't have been champion, but he was, and I find it hilarious. And Jinder Mahal was just, I loved him. He was great. And guess what? He was saddled with a horrible gimmick, 3MB, 3 jobbers acting like they're in a band, with Heath Slater as their leader. We'll talk about the third member of 3MB in a minute. But yeah, he gets released after years, a year or two as just a pure jobber. Think Otis and Tozawa. They would lose to those guys, all right? They would lose to those guys. They one time got into a feud with a mini bull, but that WLC match was awesome. I can't deny that. But yeah, that's how bad they were. They were just they were jobbers of jobbers. And yet, he gets fired. He works on just working out, his body, his mentality, his training, and all that stuff. Comes back to WWE, and he wins the WWE title, the biggest title there is. Almost even got a match with Brock Lesnar. And then you could say Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, but they don't count. Cody Rhodes asked for his release, but he did leave and made a huge name for himself. So you can make a name for yourself out of WWE. CM Punk, technically he was fired, but we all know that he left. Not even going to include him. He's going to be a success no matter where he is. But Cody Rhodes, the Cody Rhodes we see now is not a byproduct of the WWE machine. It is actually a byproduct of Cody Rhodes on the indies and from AEW. That is that Cody Rhodes that we are seeing now is an actual AEW Cody Rhodes. And it's just working here in WWE. There was other wrestlers though, who were released. Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is doing just fine in TNA actually as Nick Nemeth. He was their champion, just lost it. Plus, he was on a bunch of other indies and Japanese wrestling and all that stuff. Then there's Zack Ryder, who goes by the name of Matt Cardona right now. That's his real name. And he was a mid-carder. Okay, Zack Ryder was a strict mid-carder to jobber, but every once in a while he would flirt with the high mid-card. He even won the U.S. title Intercontinental Championship. But for the most part, he was just, I don't know. I wouldn't say he was a pure comedy act, but he definitely was on the more comedy side of WWE, but he could be taken serious here and there. But he was released. And when he was released, he made a name for himself on the indies, proving that you can make a lot of money, still wrestle, still be a success, still be very well known, and not be in the WWE. Now, granted, new wrestling fans probably never heard of Matt Cardona, but if you're kind of in the wrestling internet bubble, then yeah, you probably do know of who he is. He's the king of the indies, and he is Chelsea Green's husband, actually. Chelsea Green, who I talked about earlier, getting released. So just being released and even never being rehired by the WWE doesn't mean your story's over. Doesn't mean you're a failure. I mean, here, Bobby Lashley, his contract not renewed, just like Sonya Deville's. And guess what? Where is he at right now? He is top of the card in AEW. In fact, in AEW, he has the most interesting storyline right now. So I would say that the Hurt Syndicate is just doing a bang-up job, and I hope they get Cedric Alexander into their Syndicate. Yeah, they're the Hurt Syndicate in AEW, and they're the Hurt Business in WWE. Is it a ripoff? Yeah, it's a ripoff, but who cares? They're doing a great job. All of wrestling's a ripoff. Hate to break it to you. But yeah, so again, I'm not saying that them losing their job doesn't suck. It does. It definitely does. But there's still hope. And then the biggest example, the biggest hope of all, is Drew freaking McIntyre. Drew McIntyre came in as the chosen one. He was literally chosen by Vince McMahon at the time when Vince wasn't, we didn't know that much about Vince, and he was still, just a really awesome promoter. And he was the chosen one by Vince McMahon. And then his career starts to slowly go downhill, and boom, he's in 3MB with Jinder Mahal and Heath Slater just jobbing to everybody, jobbing to little bulls. And it's and then one day he's just released. And I remember loving Drew McIntyre even back then and being like, man, I can't believe they wasted that guy. Just a total waste. And Drew McIntyre did not give up. He went to TNA, he went here, he went there. He just built himself to the point that WWE rehired him back, threw him through NXT, and boom, he comes out of NXT. He's Dolph Ziggler's muscle. But again, he stays the course, and he Claymore kicks Brock Lesnar out of the Royal Rumble. Goes on to win WrestleMania. Unfortunately, it was the year when nobody was in attendance because of, that thing that happened in 2020 throughout the entire world. But look at him now. He even used that to build the character that he is now. He had the greatest feud last year. The guy who was released, the guy who was like, you are the chosen one, never mind, you suck, you're fired, get out of here. He right now had the best storyline last year with CM Punk. He is right now, like, everybody's like low-key favorite. Everybody wants to say, oh yeah, I love Roman, Cody, or this guy or that guy because, they feel like they kind of have to because, they're awesome. But it's like, everybody respects Drew. Everybody just knows how awesome Drew is and how awesome Drew was last year. And the dude was straight up fired. And it sucked for him. It sucked when he got fired, but he put in the time and effort to, rebuild himself and get himself back to where he knew he belonged. So there is no silver lining, all right? There's no silver lining to you losing your jobs. And if you can find one, great, more power to you. But there is still hope. And this applies to anybody. Hey, if you lost your dream job as an engineer, or you got cut from a scene in a movie because you're an actor, or whatever, this applies. There's still hope. There's still hope. Just don't give up. Stay the course. Don't give up on the dream. Just whatever you do, don't give up on the dream. All right, so that's pretty much the video. I didn't talk about the giveaway because, this was kind of a serious topic. So basically, if you're still here and you want to win this belt at 10,000 subscribers, I am going to give it away. I'm trying to quit my day job and follow the dream. So I'll do more funny stuff with that, like intro and segue at a later date for tomorrow's video. But yeah, it was just too serious of a topic. So please do like and subscribe the video. I would appreciate that. And boys, girls, have a great day. And just remember, there's always hope. Don't give up.